Liam Byrne, a key figure in the Kinahan cartel that has dominated the drug trade around the world. He is a close friend and trusted associate of the Kinahan group and also heads his own criminal organization. But who exactly is this notorious criminal figure, and how did he rise to such high ranks in the underground world? Most importantly, why his downfall means such a huge blow to the Kinahan cartel. Liam Byrne is a notorious crime figure in the Irish underworld. He has strong ties to the Kinahan cartel, where he is closely associated with Christy Kinahan. On top of that, Byrne is also the leader of the Byrne organised crime group, which holds significant sway in the Irish underground scene. So yeah, he is a pretty big deal. His involvement in the Crumlin-Drinnach feud and the Kinahan-Hutch feud has led to Byrne becoming one of the most wanted men in the Garda's pursuit of bringing down the Irish gangs. When it comes to illegal activities, Byrne has been involved in the drug trade, money laundering and weapon smuggling, among other crimes. Liam was born to James Byrne and Sadie Byrne in October 1980. He had 5 siblings, all older than him. Byrne had a lot of close family members who were involved in crime. His cousin Freddie Thompson was convicted of murder. His brother would also adopt a criminal lifestyle, later dying from getting shot in the Kinahan-Hutch feud. Later in life, he married the sister of Thomas Kavanagh, a high-profile criminal in the Irish underworld. Thomas Kavanagh also happens to be a senior member of the Kinahan cartel, so Byrne had plenty of connections to make his debut into the criminal world and eventually climb the ladder to become the notorious criminal he is today. Byrne started his criminal career as a drug dealer, and this was possible thanks to his links to Christy Kinahan. Christy would provide him with drugs to sell, such as cannabis and ecstasy. Sometime later, Christy Kinahan was arrested and imprisoned for illegal activities. But by then, Byrne had advanced to the senior ranks of Christy's gang. In the absence of Kinahan, the leadership fell on Byrne and Freddie Thompson, a fellow gang member. And with that, Byrne had his first gang to lead and a taste for power as the top brass. Though before, Kinahan provided the group with drugs, now the duo chose to source their drugs from elsewhere. However, the law soon caught up. As a teen, Byrne robbed 2 stores in Dublin in 1988 with an associate. The first robbery went as planned, and the duo got away with it, but the second robbery did not go as well. A police officer walked in while Byrne was robbing the store. He was caught and pleaded guilty to burglary. He was also charged with dangerous driving and firearms charges, which he pleaded guilty to as well. In January 2000, Byrne was found guilty and given a 4-year sentence. But since he was a teen at the time of the crimes, his sentence was suspended. But that only lasted for a little while. Even after being caught, Byrne could not stop himself from getting on the wrong side of the law. In April 2000, just months after receiving his suspended sentence, Byrne assaulted Trevor Donnelly, who was at the time with his partner Jennifer Doyle. He is said to have hit him with a baseball bat and kept hitting Donnelly as he lay on the ground, helpless. And when Jennifer Doyle pleaded for Byrne to stop, he is quoted to have said, "Tell him if he wakes up, it's bullets." All this occurred in a shopping mall with tons of victims, but not one would come forward to be a witness at the trial because of their fear of Byrne and his gang. There were only 2 witnesses willing to testify, Donnelly and his partner Doyle, and Byrne did everything he could to stop Doyle from testifying. He tried to bribe her and then threatened to kill her if she testified. When she remained unswayed, Byrne actually tried to have her killed. Her home was shot at and she was forced to leave. After Doyle had given her testimony, she was assaulted in the courthouse and left severely injured. Despite her hardships, Doyle's testimony was vital in the trial. Byrne had to serve a 4.5-year sentence for his crimes, and the previous suspended sentence was also included in his punishment. It was a victory for justice. But only a small one, since Byrne was not done with his criminal lifestyle. But while Byrne was in jail, something interesting happened. A violent feud had broken out. 2 months before Byrne was jailed for his crimes, 3 of the men from his gang were arrested. Although that could be entirely normal, what happened next is what sparked the feud. 2 of the arrested were arrested, while the third, Declan Gavin, was let go. This led many of the gang members to believe that Declan Gavin had sold out the other 2 to save his skin. This accusation would spark a tedious, long feud that resulted in several casualties. The gang was split into 2 factions, with one faction headed by Freddie Thompson and Declan Gavin, while the other was led by Brian Rattigan. and these two were at each other's throats soon after. The feud lasted almost a decade, and during this time there were 13 casualties. One of them was Declan Gavin, who was stabbed by Rattigan. When Byrne was released, Christy Kinahan had already left the country for Spain. There he was able to build a huge drug empire on his way to becoming one of the most wanted criminals in the world. Byrne followed his former boss to Spain as well, going to Costa del Sol. From here, he shipped drugs and weapons from Ireland to Spain with the help of the Kinahans. But when the Spanish authorities began targeting the Kinahan cartel, Byrne fled from Spain to Ireland. This association with the Kinahans, however, is what helped Byrne to build up his own crime group. Until now, Byrne had been more or less a high-ranking member of the gang founded by Christy Kinahan, who would go on to become the Byrne Crime Group. The leader of the gang was Freddie Thompson. By a stroke of luck though, Freddie Thompson got into a feud with the Irish National Liberation Army in 2007. Since the INLA is extremely strong in Ireland, Thompson had to flee Dublin for a while to ensure his safety, and that left Byrne being the only one qualified to be the leader, and so it was. Finally, Byrne had become the leader of the gang, which was later dubbed the Byrne Organised Crime Group after its leader. The Byrne Crime Group acts as a branch of the Kinahan cartel, so it has a very strong backing. But with the recent actions against the Kinahan cartel by the authorities, Byrne too found the cage closing in around him. As authorities cracked down on Byrne's crime group, they began encroaching Byrne's assets. One of the assets that was encroached was his house in Clondalkin. Byrne was not about to let his ill gains go so easily, so in August 2020, before the house could be sold on the market, a car rammed into the house intentionally. After that, the house was petrol-bombed. The fire spread, but the firefighters were able to get it under control. The attack is thought to have been conducted by Byrne's associates to prevent it from being sold by the authorities. Being such a high-profile criminal and an associate of Christy Kinahan himself, Byrne was obviously highly wanted. And as the crackdown on the Kinahans continued, the authorities were finally able to catch Byrne in December 2023. They caught him while he was eating at a restaurant, and just like that, Byrne, the leader of the infamous Byrne cartel, was in custody. He was extradited to the UK, where he will stand trial for his crimes. Most importantly, he could potentially lead the police to catch Christy Kinahan and other top brass for the Kinahan cartel if he chooses to betray them. But whether that happens or not, only time will tell. Do you think Byrne will give up the Kinahans to save his own hide? Let us know in the comment section below. That's it for today's video. Please like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Until next time, stay safe.